WeFunder is one of the largest equity crowdfunding websites on the planet that's helping startups and businesses raise funding from the crowd. And in today's video, we're going to be going through some of the top WeFunder campaigns in 2024. So if you're an investor, you're an inventor, a creator, or an entrepreneur, and you're wondering what the heck is happening on WeFunder, what are some of those wildly funded campaigns, we're gonna be covering that in today's YouTube video. And if you stay until the end of this video, we'll also be going through the lessons that you can learn from some of these major campaigns and also some of the trends that we're seeing happening this year when it comes to the equity crowdfunding ecosystem. My name is Salvador Briggman, and on this channel, we love to talk about crowdfunding and demystify that for you. I also have a podcast I publish every single week, the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast, where we bring on guests who are successfully raising money and we get into what's happening behind the scenes of their campaigns. Without further ado, let's get into today's list and let's get into the first campaign. Now, the first campaign on our list for campaigns launched in 2024 is Simplify Genomics, which is actually launched in December of 2024. This company aims to transform genomic data into powerful healthcare solutions. They launched and they were able to raise actually $5 million from more than 2,800 investors. In addition, this is an established company that had over $1 million in revenue over the last 12 months at the time they were raising funds. They have an established CEO and founding team, and it's also for a great cause. So number one, I think it's really cool to use AI to understand genomic data, but also I love the fact that more established companies are seeing equity crowdfunding as a viable route to raise funding and to be even able to hit that maximum of that $5 million in a 12-month period at the time we are recording this video. So hats off to these founders. And I think it's a great example of how you can have a blockbuster WeFunder campaign, even if you are an established company. Number two on my list is WeFunder.com. And I think this is an incredible example of the platform really being willing to kind of toot their own horn, but also to buy into that mission that equity crowdfunding is transforming the fundraising landscape. As you know, WeFunder's mission is to provide angel investing for everyone. With this most recent campaign, they're able to raise $19.9 million, raised from 6,700 investors. In 2024 alone, they had $16.8 million in revenue, a 2x year-over-year revenue growth from 2024 to 2023, and $2 million 2024 net profit. I think it's pretty clear that the users also think that way, which is why they hit number 2 in our list of top WeFunder campaigns in 2024. Number 3 on our list, you might actually recognize because it is Beehiiv, which is a newsletter platform that's designed for growth. Beehiiv ended up launching a community round on WeFunder, and that's why they take our next item in this list. Having been funded in June of 2024, this campaign racked over $1 million from more than 800 investors. Their founding team comprised early employees of Morning Brew, who led product engineering and growth. They have a $12 million annual run rate with a 450% year-over-year growth. This team of 65 scattered across 8 countries was able to hit that 12 million revenue run rate and also to send over 1 billion emails per month. So this item in the list actually introduces a new term, which is a community round. And this is native to WeFunder. A community round is when you're trying to do a larger round, let's just say like a Series B, and maybe you're trying to raise money from established VC firms in order to do that. And you decide, you know what, I actually want to open up a small pool when it comes to investors who might be users or customers of my business. And in that way, I can incentivize them, I can thank them, and I can also make sure that they're more willing to share my tool with their friends and family to tap into their network to help our growth as well. So a community round is when you're involving the crowd in a larger funding round for your startup. Now, number 4 is really cool. And if you're interested in, as a founder, integrating robotics or hardware with software, or as an investor, getting really in the ground floor in some of the latest AI and engineering firms that are out there, you're gonna wanna listen up. This WeFunder campaign was launched and funded in April of 2024, having raised over $3 million from 8,070 investors. It's important to note that this comprises both a Reg D raise when it came to this startup and also a Reg CF raise, which ended up raising $1.6 million. Led by the world-class ex-leadership from Apple, Oculus, Neuralink, and Baxter Health, this is the world's first mind-controlled robotic wearable with individual finger control and sense of touch. I think this is a great example of how equity crowdfunding can really power a new generation of entrepreneurs, innovators, and people that are really leading the charge when it comes to tomorrow's innovations. In addition, it's a great way for investors to participate in those raises and to receive upside and get access to that kind of technology that maybe they could never have that kind of opportunity before, but now because of the power of the crowdfunding, the crowd regulation crowdfunding, Reg A+, you can now actually participate in these kinds of offerings. Now I got to get to the next one in our list, which also incorporates AI technology. But before we do, if you are a founder, a startup, or an entrepreneur, and you want to raise funding from the crowd, and maybe you want to do that on WeFunder.com or learn more about equity crowdfunding, I got a great free course out there where I'll take you step by step through how to launch, market, and promote one of these regulation crowdfunding campaigns. All you got to do is go to the link I'm about to mention and join my free equity crowdfunding course. You can learn about WeFunder and other platforms that are available when it comes to cashing in on the crowdfunding gold rush and being able to launch your startup, raise money, and really bring your ideas into reality. If you want to learn more about that free course, just go to the link down below at crowdcrux.com/equity course. That link will take you there and you can just enter your name and email and you'll start getting some lessons from me at that link, crowdcrux.com/equity course. And again, that link is down below. And for those of you that really want to be able to absorb this like a sponge as you're going throughout the day, as you're cleaning your dishes, you're cleaning your garage, you're commuting to work, you're going to the gym, I also have a great audiobook out there called Equity Crowdfunding Explained, which you can check out at the link down below. You get a free copy if you download a free trial of Audible. And for those of you that really value like a paperback version, I also have that as well on Amazon. And people have really been saying great things about that book. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillrite today. Link in the description. The next on our list is Clockwork, and Clockwork uses AI-powered robots in order to make beauty services more accessible worldwide. This campaign aims at the $625 billion beauty industry. It was funded in March of 2024, and it ended up raising $7.3 million. $2 million, or a little bit more of that, came from a regulation crowdfunding campaign, and previously using a Reg D, a $5.2 million raise was conducted. This company has served over 19,000 customers. Their monthly revenue grew by 475% since March of 2024, and they've deployed robots in New York City, Miami, DC, Beverly Hills, and the Bay Area. With Renuka Apte at the helm as CEO, this is a great example of how minorities and female-led founders are able to use equity crowdfunding in order to raise capital from the crowd. So there's actually been a lot of studies on this. I think we're gonna do a video as well on this YouTube channel. And if you do enjoy the videos I put out there, obviously comment and like this video, come subscribe for more content just like this, and leave a positive comment down below. But I think I'm gonna put out a video on some of the data behind equity crowdfunding raises because we're seeing more and more females and minorities turn to this avenue in order to raise capital from the crowd because there is a disparity between that and more of the traditional capital raising markets. But I want to talk about the next one on my list because this is actually close to my heart because we use this as a team when it comes to collaborating internally in my company, Crowdcrux, and also when it comes to other things like our podcast episodes, just to simplify this. And I was privileged enough to interview one of the members of the team when it comes to this successful WeFunder campaign. And of course, I am talking about Fathom, which basically makes meetings smarter using AI technology. You can go to episode number 514 of my podcast, discover the system that was used to raise $17.3 million with their campaign. The company is one of the earliest players when it launched in 2020. Fathom then raised a $4.7 million seed round in early 2022, and then the company announced a $17 million Series A round led by Telescope Partners. Notably, $2 million of the $17 million came from Fathom users via crowdfunding on WeFunder. If you want to hear directly from a member of the team and discover what really went into this raise and also the backstory behind it, go and listen to episode number 514 of my podcast, Crowdfunding Demystified, available on iTunes, Spotify, and we also publish a version here on YouTube, and I'll put a link down below as well. And the next on our list is Ourbond, which uses AI to democratize personal security. This campaign ended up raising $4.6 million off of a $5 million goal, $1.7 million from regulation crowdfunding, and $2.9 off of a Reg D round. When it comes to this startup, their revenue grew 5x to $7.2 million in 2023. They are pioneering the transformation of a $438 billion personal security market with AI-powered technology. And their team came on our podcast in episode number 506 to share some of the tricks of the trade and the secrets that went into their powerful raise, some of the advice for other founders out there in the audience, and how they were able to raise $500,000 in just 15 days. If you want to learn more about that, go to episode number 506 of the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. You can listen to that on iTunes or on Spotify. So let's just highlight a couple of key trends that we're seeing this year when it comes to equity crowdfunding. So the number one trend that I'm seeing is more and more community rounds that are being launched. So yes, we're seeing later stage startups incorporating crowdfunding as a way to reward and incentivize their users and their customers, and also make those customers turn into evangelists for their brand. We're seeing that across the board and more Reg A plus as well style campaigns on other platforms. And I think that WeFunder is going to also start to enter that A plus, Reg A plus game. We're also seeing the emergence of what are called venture funds, where you can kind of diversify your investments across a couple of different startups. And in that way, you can be more diversified and you can get exposure to a wide variety of asset classes, categories of startups, industries, etc. The next big trend I'm seeing, you should perk up if you are a minority or you're a female entrepreneur. We're seeing more and more of this type of entrepreneur or founder deciding to, instead of going to that gatekeeper, which maybe has held back access to capital in the past, going straight to the crowd in order to raise money, get funding in their coffers, and really accelerate the growth of their brand. And maybe in the future, deciding to do a more traditional raise. We're seeing people raise money in that 6-figure to 7-figure category. And I do think we're going to continue to see the growth of that segment, specifically for people, again, who don't have maybe traditional access to the capital markets, and even people who are considering using this as a way to reward their evangelist supporters by getting in first, getting in the ground floor of their startup company. And number 3, I think that a lot of people out there, a lot of founders and entrepreneurs are starting to realize that this is actually a marketing exercise. Like, yes, you can get funding from the crowd, which is great, and you can use that to grow your company, to hire people and to expand your product offering, but it's also a way that people can discover your brand name. You can start to make some headlines, and you can really get people to become more aware of what you're doing online. So we've been seeing more and more founders use this as a marketing exercise, incorporate some powerful tools in that, and also some strategies that I would say fall into that digital marketing category. Now, if that's something that you want help with and you really want to have a trained eye assess your campaign, you want to make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's going into a launch. You also want to know what the big boys are doing behind the scenes. How can you have a step-by-step plan, which is really going to make sure that not only do you hit your goal, but you wildly exceed it, and really go into this campaign armed with the tools that you need in order to be successful. Whether you're in the early stages of planning this equity crowdfunding campaign, you're just thinking about it, or you're already ready, you're kind of getting that snowball, you're pushing that down the hill. And I think more importantly, you're beginning to think about the marketing element of the campaign. You want this to be a big winner for you and your company. You want to use this campaign to really, have people talking about you, to start to get media buzzing, and to have your customers and potential, investors in the future be aware of your brand. Go down below and book that intensive one-on-one coaching call. We'll use that not only to set the strategy going into your launch, but also talk about the tools, tactics, resources, and people that you should be aware of in this industry. And it's a great investment specifically as well if it's your first time or your second time around and you really want to do a better job this second time. So just go to that link, crowdcrux.com/coaching, fill out the form, tell me more about you, your inspiration, what you're working on, and what your target is when it comes to your launch. We can get that call scheduled ASAP at that link, crowdcrux.com/coaching. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I think you're gonna like some of the videos as well that I'm coming out with this year. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you wanna make sure you stay up to date on all of the tools, tactics, techniques, and the news when it comes to regulation crowdfunding and equity crowdfunding. Make sure you turn on notifications as well. Leave a positive comment down below and go and take some action. My name is Salvador Briggman. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.